When the moon horns in India, whose silence breaks first? The people's or the poets?
Yes, thank you. Hope I'm audible now.
Yeah, you are. Yes, sir, you are.
Thank you very much. Firstly, thankful to each one of you, starting with Mr. Emmanuel for inviting me. It's both an honor and a privilege to be on this group and to address this wonderfully wonderful audience. And a lovely topic to start with, when moon horns. As rightly said by Emmanuel, that it's both a metaphor and personification. And to answer the question that has been put forth, I mean, who comes up first, whether it's the persons, the people, or it's the poet. It all matters upon to which section of the people or the society any particular occurrence or an event affects. Because if you see, each one of us is a person besides being a poet, right? And each one of us is a poet besides being a person. So it's a duality, it affects both. But to answer the question, I mean, who speaks first? It's the mode of expression that is chosen. If it's people, I mean, they will resort to any possible means of communication, of replying, or to assorting to any possible means. It could be like violence, it could be like their own means of expression to express or convey their feelings, anger, or what not sort of things that they want to convey. Having said that, when it's the poets who have to convey and who want to communicate, they do so with the power of their pen. And that's where the beauty of the moon horning can be visualized, can be read, and can be felt through the verses. Because using those poetic tools, the poets can convey these feelings in a very subtle, unique way. So I hope that answers the question.
Sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It answers that. Okay, in Odisha, in early October 2025, violent clashes broke out during a Durga Puja immersion procession in Kotak, leading to curfew orders and internet suspension. How can silence protest when speech is punished by curfew? How can silence protest when speech is punished by curfew?
Oh, sorry, can you repeat the last part one more time again? How can silence?
How can silence protest when speech is punished by curfew?
All right, I got that. As they say, speech is silver, but silence is golden. So I would like to put it that way, aptly. What happens is that usually during such communal violences, in particularly any pocket of this world, as an example that you cited was, yes, it was an unfortunate incident in Odisha, India. There is a communal section of people who wants to drive away their point, but there has to be a particular apt and the correct mode of communication, the way to convey it. One or a group of people opt not to do that by the way that which they did it. That was the most unfortunate way, because when there is Durga Puja, there is a section of people who are believers, who are followers, and who come there to worship the goddess. And during such an occasion, an auspicious occasion, when a section of the people they resort to such things, it's a real unfortunate thing. To answer your question, yes, silence does do the talking in a lot more subtle way. The best example of that is our very own Mahatma Gandhi from India, the great Mahatma Gandhi from India. He resorted to non-cooperation. He never raised a stick, let alone a stone. So the subtle way of communication can also go through silence, because as they say, no response is also a response. that can also convey the meaning that yes, I express my displeasure, express my unhappiness over the proceedings, and that's the best way I choose to protest is through silence, or let my silence do the talking. Let my silence convey the meaning that I want to convey. Hope that answers that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Now let's move to Bihar, a state in India. We see a sweeping special intensive revision (SIR) of the electoral roll in 2025 sparked fierce debates with over 5.2 million elections flagged for being not found during verification. My question is, can democracy horn louder than manipulation? Can democracy horn louder than manipulation?
Thank you very much. This is a very direct question. It certainly is, and it certainly should. The reason being, the example that you cited, there are countless examples of votes rigging, fake voting, wherein a few parties, just to drive home the advantage or just to drive home the winning seat in their own name for the particular constituency in question, they can resort and go down or stoop down to any level to make their own selfish ends meet. And yes, this is where is the real acid test of the word democracy that you use in your question. To see democracy winning this is something like David fighting the Goliath. Here, the Goliath is nothing but corruption, bias, prejudice, and selfish motives that all make it the giant Goliath, driving home the agenda by falsified means, unfair means, rigging, and rigging the vote bank altogether. What does it lead to? Democracy goes for a toss. And this is where democracy needs to peek out and raise its head and say, hello, I am there. You cannot win. I won't let you corruption win. I won't let you all these falsified means, these selfish motives succeed. And this is where, as a unified front, democracy needs to stand up, stand tall, because ultimately, when you say elections, it's choosing a leader by the people for the people. That's what really democracy means. So, this is where democracy stands out and should stand out, overwhelming all possible means, modes of corruption. The best example that you cited out was Bihar. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, please, sir, can you tell us about the Ladakh protest? The Ladakh protest. Can you briefly tell us about the Ladakh protest?
All
Yeah,
right.
the Ladakh protest.
Okay. Now, again, similar to incidents in Orissa and in Bihar. Now, this is a contentious region altogether. I did not go into the detailed intricacies because just a few years back, there were quite a few changes, the statehood, then the Article 70 and whatnot. Then it happened to be a union territory, and then some sections, some masses of people, they do have a right to get unhappy over certain means, certain modes of government or governance altogether, wherein they express their displeasure and they have every right to do so. Why? Because they are the ones who elect the government, who elect their leader. And there comes a time wherein, due to some XYZ things, some XYZ measures, some XYZ steps taken by these very leaders that just go against the very basic common interests of the people living out there. Just Ladakh is an example. This could again happen in any part of the world, inciting violence. Of course,
Mm.
by no means violence is beneficial because ultimately we are humans, both the leaders and we, the common man, and our children, our women, our mothers, our wives. They all have a right to live and to enjoy the basic amenities of life. So, if at all any particular protest has to be made, yes, it has to be made in a very clear, concise, and in an assertive way. But violence is something that I'm personally very against. Yes, put your points on your table. Let it be heard in a very proper, right way so that a stern action is taken. Let there be a strong representative of the people, the mass of people who are protesting against something untoward that is happening, something unpleasant that is happening to their very cause, to their very existence, to their very means of livelihood. But let us not forget that if at all any child dies, it's the mother who weeps. If at all any mother dies, it's the child who weeps. So ultimately, it's the death
Exactly.
of humanity. So, fine, yes, let us put forth our points, but in a very subtle and you ask me my own personal opinion, let non violence be the norm, be it in any corner of the world. But to end with, let me say, let us not forget to be assertive, but in a non violent way. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, my last question before I'll call on the audience to also ask you some questions. Okay, the last question. Do you believe rebellion is still sacred in India?
A dicey question indeed. I would say yes, 50% yes, or 50% no. The reason why I put it
Okay,
this way, the reason why I put it this way is let me take you to a small child, aged 3 year old. What does he do? If he really wants a chocolate or an ice cream, he will throw tantrums. That's his form of rebellion. And that's where, if he happens to be a really an irritable child, finally the parents give in and, oh, come on, don't cry, just take it and just keep your mouth shut. What does the child do? The child is rebellious. Now, coming back to your question, the hidden motive behind what led or caused that rebellion becomes very important. Is the outcome of that rebellion fruitful for that mass of people who bring about that rebellion? Is it fruitful to the mass of people who are impacted by that rebellion? So, all these things need to be taken into consideration. Then, what are the means and the modes of that rebellion? Again, take you to our very own Honorable Mahatma Gandhi ji. His freedom struggle, also an example of a rebellion. What were his tools? Non violence, non cooperation. Yes, even that is rebellion. But what did it do? It gave India independence in 1947. It was a form of rebellion. But if you ask me, that was the correct way. If you ask me for my personal opinion, there will be people around here who would beg to differ, but that was also a form of rebellion because he used the biggest tool that was of peace, a peaceful rebellion, but yet I had used the word before, he was assertive in being non cooperative. That's also a rebellion. But pelting stones on the security forces, on the police, killing innocent people, yes, that is rebellion. But that's not the correct form of rebellion. Let your voice be heard. Let your agenda go across the table. But the means, the modes of doing that should be proper. You shouldn't be killing people just for the sake of driving your agenda, and you don't call it the correct means and the way and the mode of rebellion. I've given plenty of examples just to cite the different forms of rebellion. And it's up to the open forum and the great honorary people out here to, come back to me and say, yes, this is the right form of rebellion, this is not the right form of rebellion. Because any form of rebellion, if it causes pain, agony, hurt to anybody, it's not correct. But if it benefits a single person or a mass of people, yes, it is beneficial provided it has been generated by the right means, by the right mode, and it drives home the advantage of meeting the agenda at the end of the day for a larger section of the people and hence the society and hence the country as a whole. Thank you.
Hmm. Thank you so much, sir. Very poignant, very, very beautiful. I will call on one of our audience to also ask you some questions. Um, Comfort. Hello, Comfort. Hello, Comfort. Are you there? Hello. Hello, Comfort. All right. Let's call on Promise. Hello, Promise. Hello, Promise. All right.
Hello.
Let's move on. Let's move on.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I can. I can. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I don't really have any question.
Okay. You don't have any question. All
Yeah.
right. Okay. Comfort. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you have any question for our guest?
Not exactly, sir.
Okay. Okay. Let's call on um hello Vashudhara Jadhav from India. You're welcome, ma. Ma okay. Do you have any question, ma?
Hello, I am audible.
Hello, ma.
Huh? Hello.
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. And
Yeah, good
it's a
evening.
it's a really very nice session and very informative. So it's a pleasure to me to be have here today to share thoughts on our theme, that is when moon horns so give human values. And I believe the moon, like poetry, teaches us to grow gentle, shine softly, and never stop changing. So this is the reflection of our today's topic. So my question is here that if you could write a message from the moon horns to humanity, what would it say? If you could
All
write a
right.
message from the moon horns to humanity, what would it say?
All right. When does the moonlight illuminate? It's at night, right? So
Yes.
when the world sleeps, when the world is covered with a blanket of darkness, that's what
Hmm.
moonlight does. It's a pleasant, soothing, a whitish light that just about makes you see things outside from your window, right?
Hmm.
So, in its own unique, subtle way, the moon does its job of illumination. It spreads its own radiance. I mean, it not be as bright as the sun. Yet, why do people compose plentiful of poetries on the moon, whether it be in the form of a crescent or whether it be in the form of a full moon? Because therein lies its uniqueness, its beauty, its radiance, its glow, its illumination. And that's what moon horns do, right?
Yes.
The role of inspiring people, the role of illuminating darkness, the role of replacing ignorance with knowledge, the role of replacing wrong with right, what is, what should be, is what the moon horns do. So, as a message, I would say be like the moon. No matter what, you have a very little proportion of light to give to this world. But that's all it needs to inspire someone. All the amount of light that perhaps someone is just waiting for as a matter of inspiration, as a matter of motivation. Be that light, be like the moon, learn to radiate, learn to illuminate, sorry, and hence learn to inspire. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. answer. Thank you for letting me share that thought. And just like the moon's horns, may we all keep shining softly, so spreading peace, patience, and hope wherever we go. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you as well, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Ma.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, thank you. Let's talk about Kashmir. Can you briefly tell us the events, the happenings of Kashmir and reflecting to the theme when moon horns? Yeah, what's actually happening currently in Kashmir?
Okay, a volatile region, no wonder. And when you ask about happenings, a lot many things happen there, not just every day, but I should say every minute. Every minute.
Okay.
Again, I'm taking you back to that Ladakh question, and Ladakh itself is a part of Kashmir now, which has been like divided into two different union territories. And just like Moon Horn's question regarding to the violence that happened in Orissa, Bihar, and Ladakh, of course, a part of Kashmir that is. Again, there, I mean, yes, people do have their own displeasure over governance, and they have resorted to their own means of communication, rebellion, if you might put it that way. And, well, some may call it as their own freedom struggle. Well, every person is entitled to have his or her own opinion. Some might say, yes, it's my freedom struggle. Some might say, yes, it's rebellion. Some might say, it's my point of letting the government know that you are not governing us the right way. Some people may also say that, yes, these are some points on my table, some agendas, things which should have been in a particular way, but which were not, and which makes us a section of people from this part of the world to know that we exist and we have a right to live like any other human being. We had been deprived of our homes, of the basic needs and necessities to live a normal life. So this particular region is just raising its head, raising its voice to let themselves know that yes, we have a right to live. We need good governance because some of them are really feeling displeasure regarding governance and things which should change. But as a message, I would like to give them all is that no matter who the culprit is, this region has always seen more guns, more shootouts. So let there be more jobs, let there be more opportunities for these people. Best example is let those guns get replaced by pens so that in the sessions to come, there would be many Kashmiris joining us on this very forum and expressing their views, their thankfulness of what one was one particular day, a very negative state of mind, and what they became today, a subtle positive change, the effect of the moon horns. So as a person, yes, with every person out there, yes, my heart reaches out to them because they have lost their lives. They have lost their near and dear ones. They have lost their homes. They have lost the means of livelihood. So let the moon horn confer upon them all that they have been deprived of, all that they deserve to get as mere humans for their mere existence, because that is where humanity thrives, that is where humanity prevails, and that is where humanity ushers in an utopian like society. And there is no other place on this world as beautiful as Kashmir. I had never been there, but from the locals, from the people whom I know, from the Kashmiris themselves, I know for one thing that this place, Kashmir, is a paradise. Enough of burning of this paradise. Let it thrive. Let it grow with radiance, just like the moon horns. Thank you. Are we done with the session? I mean, I can't hear anyone like putting forth any discussion, any question. Anyone who would like to like say, speak, ask any question, want to know about any important facets of life, or for that matter, when moon horns as the theme for today, is free and welcome to address me or to ask or put forth a question. I'll be happy to answer. Thank you.
Emmanuel, are you still there?
I believe there ought to be some connection issue, network problem. I mean, I can't hear him, Emmanuel. And the meeting is still on. Okay, with any further discussion or questions from any one of you.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes. Okay. The network took us out. Okay. I was trying to read a poem, but I think we should continue. So we're talking about Kashmir before. So let's move to Delhi. Delhi. Please, can you briefly tell us, give us a brief description of what is happening in Delhi currently, and and discuss on the Delhi's protest. Discuss on the Delhi's protest.
All right. The capital of India, I mean, the seat of many, many things, occurrences. That's the seat where India's parliament resides. Of course, also a region with many, many communal sects of people with different viewpoints, different motives. So there ought to be clashes because of dissonance, disagreement, and each groups or sects of the people putting forth their own agenda and drive home their advantage. I mean, it leads to unfortunate and unsavory events. I mean, I won't go into the detailed intricacies of the same because I know these are little sensitive issues, but ultimately, if they affect the common man like you and me, particularly me from India, of course, I'm not from Delhi, though. Should I say fortunate enough not to be from Delhi, but unfortunate enough to say yes, even I am an Indian, and any Indian affected out there in Delhi because of the happening. Yes, it hurts because he is my fellow countryman after all.
Okay.
Whatever is the reason, whatever could be the cause and effect of these proceedings, of these happenings. And please come to a proper forum, use a proper channel to convey your viewpoint. Sit across table face to face, put down your points on a piece of paper. Let us hear your agenda, let us hear your problems, and let us try to solve each one of them one by one. Let it benefit the both of us. That's a message I would like to convey to the leaders at the helm of affairs in the country's capital. And yes, let the common man be heard. Because what happens, I mean, at the end of the day, you cannot please everyone, right? I mean, there will be always someone who goes crying at the end of the day, saying that, oh, I'm unhappy, he didn't listen to me, my agendas weren't heard. But you know what? Ultimately, you belong to a group of people. Fine, get your own leader. Let them represent that particular mass of people. Let him have a strong voice that reaches out to the top echelons of the parliament seat here in Delhi. so that things can be thought over, discussed, resolved, and solutions can be sought after, so that day in and day out or day after day, we don't see violence in the streets of India's capital. Because when such things happen, they give the country's capital and ultimately the country a bad name. Because we ultimately happen to be the ambassadors of our country. We represent our country. So we would always love to present our country in a very rosy way, in a picturesque way. But these untoward happenings make it absolutely the otherwise. So let us remember that yes, be assertive, speak your point, give your opinion, choose your
Recording
worthy
is
leader,
on.
choose your leader, and let him put the points forth so that there could be discussions. At the end of the day, remember, arson is not the best way because it leads to anarchy, disorderliness. At the end of the day, you don't want law and order going haywire. Let us come mutually and sort out any issues, be it Delhi or any other state for that matter. Thank you.
Hello, hello. I have one more question, sir.
Mhm.
It's how do you see the contrast between India's bright progress and the dark challenges beneath, in the light of the moon's balance between light and shadow?
Okay. At any given point of time, as I said, there will always be some sort of imbalance. But a wiser man, a wiser leader at the helm of affairs will always try to strike this balance in the most possible way. And as I said before, at the end of the day, you cannot please everyone, right? So to striking this balance between disorderliness and lack of harmony, let us have a wiser head above our shoulders. When that happens, it ultimately dispels the darkness of ignorance, the darkness of unnecessary one-upmanship, and it brings forth knowledge. Because ultimately, we all are educated people, so we know what's right and what's wrong. But we don't resort to the right means when we need to drive our point. We resort to untoward means. So the question at the end of the day that we need to ask ourselves is that are we then really educated? I'm afraid. Though the answer is yes, we are behaving in a way that would make everyone seem that yes, we are the most uneducated lot. And in this context, the moon horns will have its effect of, enlightening the minds. Let there be a wiser person at the helm of affairs who sees through both the parties. That is like placing a person in the other person's shoes. Only when he can empathize with the root cause, with the underlying problems, and what could the possible solutions be to those underlying problems in the quest of finding a solution to those problems. And when such a thing happens, yes, we are driving the mass of humanity towards illumination, the illumination of knowledge as against ignorance, the illumination of sanity versus insanity, the illumination of what should be rather than, unfortunately, what is or what exists. That shows the illumination of how tomorrow could be a better day than what today was. Therein lies the hope of a peaceful world, of a peaceful society. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And the India to shine with the progress in technology, education, global vision, everything. But beneath this, the brightness lies shadow of inequality, poverty, restlessness, and all these so many issues that every country has. So we have to. It is not good to ignore everything, but we have to work on that. And the education is a good a solution. It's a well solution on that. We progress in technology, but technology when we that type is like the moon balance. Our nation must learn to honor both that achievements that illuminate us and the challenges that remind us to stay human. So true progress is not only when cities glow, but when every heart feels the warmth of the light. So I think this is my thought. So it's Emmanuel. Thank you. This is thank you to our wonderful guest from India, and your insights and spirit have illuminated this global gathering with the light of culture, compassion, wisdom, everything. Thank you to everyone. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Gada Shams from Egypt, you are welcome, ma. You are welcome to this platform tonight.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. I
You're
kind of
welcome.
joined in late, but I hope to be able to catch up on the video, on the replay.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any question currently for our guests? The theme is when moon horns, and when moon horns symbolizes the beauty or darkness in India. So, do you have any question for our guests pertaining to um, the Indian society, the reflections of the happenings of the Indian society, and do you have any question, ma?
Okay, I can try this, but how do you see the progress in Indian poetry from Tagore till now, reflecting on the themes of the moon that we discussed earlier? Because I caught up on a few points that were on last time.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll be like more than eager to address your question because I happen to be one selenophile as well. You cited the example of Sri Rabindranath Tagore ji from India, a very notable and honorable poet of our era during independence times. And in the context of poetry, I mean, poetry existed in India since many, many, many ages. We can give the example of Saint Kabir, who was also a poet, and for that matter, many other poets. I mean, I happen to be a Maharashtrian from Mumbai, so we also worship our saints. So some 700, 800 years back, there was a saint named Santa Jnaneshwar, who is also a poet. Vasundhara Ji Jadhav can vouch for this fact. Poetry existed since ages. So
Over 3,000 years before, I think.
yes, 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 1,000 years before to be more appropriate.
So,
So through all these ages, we always, uh, admired and we still cherish their works. And as newer and newer poets emerged during the course of time, I mean, what foundation stone these great saints, or for that matter, Rabindranath Tagore ji laid for each one of us. These are valuable teachings on which we can build through. And of course, poetry has its own meaning and an underlying message for the masses. So it's for us to take that message, use it positively, and so that we pass it on to the next generation who remembers us that yes, there was this great poet named Sri Rabindranath Tagore ji, or for that matter, many, many, many poets, not just from India, but globally. I mean, why do we still respect Saint Kabir, or for that matter, the great poet Khalil Gibran? Because we still read his works, we still admire them. There is a lot more to learn, there's a lot more to emulate from his works, from every single line. That is a plethora of knowledge for many more generations to come. So, in the context of Indian poets, it's very much the same. I mean, there have been poets who enlightened us, will continue to enlighten us, It beckons upon us now, this current generation, to pass it on, that knowledge, that expertise, to the next future generations. And that's where poetry thrives for the betterment of one and all. Thank you.
So you think it's whoever's poetry is timeless with its teachings that will stand the test of time?
Exactly. It has been coexisting since ages.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining tonight. Thank you so much, Azad Pandit, a well-renowned poet. Both I've been watching your poems and I've been seeing how great you are in the field of poetry. Thank you so much for honoring my invitation. I'm deeply grateful and honored. Thank you so much, Gada Shams. She's a vibrant poet also. I've been on her page and I've been following her consistently on her page, on her Facebook page, and I can say she's really great in poetry. Thank you so much, Vashupara Janhav. She's like a mother to me. She's awesome. She's amazing. She's amazing both in heart and in the pen. And thank you so much, Usilbong Promise. He is my graphic designer. He's an awesome young guy, an awesome young man. And I want to say thank you for coming. Once again, we've come to the end of today's poetry. On the 31st of October, we'll be having a poetry talk show, and it will still be on this platform. Thank you, everyone, for coming. See you later. See you soon. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much. It
you.
was a pleasure being here. My pleasure. Loved it very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel, and to each respected honorable poet giving his and her valuable minutes and making this show a great success. Looking forward to the next poet and being a part of such wonderful sessions. Thank you so much, each one of you. Have a nice evening, and in whatever part of the world that you may be. Good night to people from India. Good evening to Emmanuel, Siobong, Vasundhara ji. Good night to you and Ms. Garashans. Good evening to you. Yes, until we meet again. This is Harshad Pandit signing off for until we catch up again, each one of us. Nice time. God. Thank you.
Thank you. All the best.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Namaste.
Thank you all. Thank you all. And thank you, Emmanuel, especially for all what you're doing for this great, great workshop and global initiative.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, madam.
Yeah.